الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على خير المرسلين محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين أما بعد Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Ramadan Mubarak. We welcome everyone back. This is our fourth session. This session we are going to review some of the passages in Quran as it relates to best speech, beautiful speech. First of all, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentions in the Quran, وَقُلْ لِعِبَادِي يَقُولُوا الَّتِي هِيَ أَحْسَنُ إِنَّ الشَّيْطَانَ يَنْزَغُ بَيْنَهُمْ إِنَّ الشَّيْطَانَ كَانَ لِلْإِنسَانِ عَدُوًّا مُبِينًا. Allah beautifully says in the Quran that telling Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam to tell the people, say to my servants to use beautiful speech, to say those words that are best, that indeed shaitan sows dissension amongst them. And also that shaitan, he is to humanity an avowed enemy. This is important, and this still stands today, that people in their interactions with each other, in their interpersonal relationships with one another, should use the best speech. The problem is, do we know what is beautiful speech? Do we know what is good speech? In the Quran, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has had compassion on us, and He's given us several examples of what to say and what not to say. In this particular video, we're going to review some of the passages that teach us what not to say. Right? And a lot of times we think that, well, bad speech is just speech that contains a curse word or so on and so forth. No, there's a certain mentality that leads speech. There's a certain mentality behind certain statements. And we want to discuss some of those different mentalities, different mindsets that may produce negative speech. So, first of all, Banu Israel, they were given the command in their covenant, وَقُولُوا لِلنَّاسِ حُسْنًا, to what? Use beautiful speech with the people. This is for all of us, that we should use beautiful speech with the people. Now, a part of beautiful speech is knowing what is negative speech. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentions in the Quran, وَإِذَا قِيلَ لَهُمْ لَا تُفْسِدُوا فِي الْأَرْضِ قَالُوا إِنَّمَا نَحْنُ مُصْلِحُونَ. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives us an example of what I would term, or what I would call, the deceitful tongue. The deceitful tongue. So the translation of this ayah is that, and when it is said to them, do not cause mischief on earth, they say, we are but reformers. We're not here to cause mischief. We're here to reform. They're being deceptive. Be careful of being deceptive. Shaitan also in the Quran was deceptive. He told Adam and Eve, he told them both that I am your sincere advisor. They're people who are deceptive. They have very beautiful speech outwardly, but the intention behind the speech does not match the beauty of the speech itself. The intentions are evil. The intentions are ugly. Be careful of the deceptive tongue. The deceitful tongue. Okay? Now we have an example of what I would term as the complaining tongue. Be careful of have you ever been around someone who complains? Perhaps you're a person who complains all the time. Be careful of being like this. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave us an example of how not to speak in the Quran. He gives us an example of the complaining tongue. Allah mentions, وَإِذْ قُلْتُمْ يَا مُوسَى لَن نُصْبِرَ عَلَى طَعَامٍ وَاحِدٍ. Banu Israel and their treatment of Moses and their treatment of Musa alayhi salam. They said, well, we can't be patient, or we can't endure one type of food. They're complaining about the food. We want from the green herbs, the cucumbers, the garlics, the lentils, the onions, so on and so forth. We can't endure this. They're complaining on the food that they have been blessed with. Here they were in a terrible situation. Allah rescued them from that terrible predicament. And now they're complaining about the one type of food. Be careful of having the complaining tongue. It's not just about cursing, but it's also about the mentality, the mindset that's behind the speech. Be careful also of the arrogant tongue. Be careful of the arrogant tongue. Ana khayrun minhu. I am better than him. This is what Shaitan told Adam alayhi salam. Khalaqatani min nar wa khalaqatahu min teen. You created me from fire. You created him from dirt. Be careful of the arrogant tongue. This is also Qarun. Innama utituhu ala ilmin indi. He says that I've been given what I've been given in regards to his treasures. I've been given this massive amount of wealth because of what? The knowledge that I possess. Be careful of the arrogant tongue. And lastly, we're going to go into the pessimistic tongue. Be careful of being full with pessimism. Okay, when you doubt that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala can come and give you success on a matter. When you expect the worst, the pessimistic tongue. Okay, so we have the example in the Quran where the army of Talut, لا تقتل لنا اليوم بجالوت وجنوده. And they said there's no power for us today with Goliath and his soldiers. We're not good enough to fight Goliath and his soldiers. We're going to be overcome by his army. This is a very defeatist attitude. Be careful of the pessimistic tongue. And then also the people of Musa, the people of Moses, alayhi salam. Remember when they had to face Fir'aun, a segment of the people said, Inna la mudrakun. We're going to be defeated. We're going to be overtaken. No positivity in regards to what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala can do for them. Be careful of being around people who are so negative. They'll tell you you're not good enough, your idea is not good enough. And this would be considered negative, bad speech. So it's not just about cursing. Those are some examples of the different types of speech that we see in the Quran that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is calling us to veer away from. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك نشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت نستغفرك ونتوب إليك. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.
مولاي صل وسلم دائما أبدا على